Welcome to Coffee with Gaz, here with Marco Luna, aka Agent Luna. That's your social media.
It's my handle. It's my handle. Agent Luna.
Your alter ego,
Yeah.
is what I call it.
I think everybody has an alter ego on social media.
Yes and no. I think that's why it's social media. As long as you play with it, right? You don't take yourself too seriously. That's what we're doing.
Right.
Hey, I ask everybody. Well, first of all, thanks for walking over from
La Ventanita.
From La Ventana,
Thanks.
your corner office.
Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, I ask everybody, just that's the promo, right? Like, how do you like your coffee?
It's definitely not black. Like cafecito in the mornings. Thankfully, my fiance gets that done for me in the morning. Light on the sugar, though. Try to keep it skinny, I guess.
So more euro than
More euro.
more euro than Cuban coffee.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
All right, I like it. Hey, I mean, it's cool because we were working together for 7-8 years, known each other a little bit longer. Lucky enough that we've been working closer because we've been on the same team together.
Sure.
I wanted to get into something specific, right? I mean, growing up in the same city, you're building your career. I think there's benefits. There's pros and cons. Pros being there's a wider network, right?
Yeah, you know the landscape.
Well, you know the landscape. You know what you're working with, and hence more opportunities, easier opportunities.
Sure.
We'll call them warm leads, not cold calls, right? Random strangers. But remember,
Who does that? They still do that?
people still do that.
Cold
People still
calling?
do that. I mean, it's not something that I think works for us, and we'll talk about that. You
Yeah.
know, that's not how we build. We built everything based on relationships.
Sure.
So everyone talks about the pros. The cons, and I felt it, I know you felt it through our conversation, is how do you grow up with people that are close to you throughout the years, since you're in your early ages, through teenagers, high school, middle school, getting into college.
Immediate family.
Immediate family, which might be the toughest
Yep.
sometimes to break. From the con, like how do you and have you dealt with this preconceived notion of who you are, right? Now you're in your mid-30s, professional, career, you're engaged, you're going on a different path, but do people still put you in that box? And I mean box of like who you were 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Like how do you have you dealt with that, and how do you break that?
I don't know if I've necessarily have broken that box just yet. You know, I've been in the game now for 6.5, 7 years. People still relay, my name with what I did before, which I was in the automotive industry.
Still 7 years later.
7 years later, people still call me at times for certain stuff that, I'm just not in that field anymore, right? So it's definitely taken a long time for people to start associating my name with insurance. I think I have gotten to the point that I've kind of, taken that next step, that next leap, I guess you could say, in people's eyes, that, all right, Marco's been promoting himself as an insurance agent,
right,
for the last 6.5 years. I think that this is long term, let's give him a shot. But then I also have other people in my immediate circle of friends or immediate family that still don't, that I still don't insure to this day. And I think it's because that's
an interesting question, and I want to. And why do you think so? Like, have you asked them?
I think it's a
or
combination.
is there a line where you have this? There's also an assumption.
It's purely based on assumption, and it's because, if I know that someone does something for a living, again, I'm a different, individual. I kind of give that person the benefit of the doubt of whatever it is that they're doing.
You're going to reach out on your own.
And I'm going to reach out on my own.
Okay.
That's just who I am. And I leverage that. So on the contrary, I think that some family members or friends or people who are in your circle,
or let's even throw out acquaintances. Because,
acquaintances,
friends
yeah,
are
sure, yeah. It's a little loose. It's a very loose term.
Friends is
Yeah.
Friends. It's a large scope.
Sure. I can count them on my hand.
Okay, I hope I'm on there.
Yeah. Are you? I don't know.
No. Cut. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I think that breaking that mold with your family is almost it's I think it's a inevitable thing that's eventually going to happen.
But should you push it? Like
no, I don't push it.
Why don't you ask?
I don't push it.
It'd be curious to know. It'd be a case study. Like, why don't you ask?
I just let other things around me. Obviously, it comes from me, right? So I think just letting people see what I do, and kind of expressing myself in different ways, they can kind of see, all right, Marco knows what he's doing and kind of has an idea of whatever of insurance. I just think that the mold is he's
you don't
X
wanna,
amount of years old, and they just don't trust me, and he's my little cousin, or he's my friend, but he's younger than me.
He's Marquito.
And,
they still
he's
do
Marquito.
The TO at the end.
The Cuban version.
Yeah, and I look, I've dealt with that too. It's almost like if and I'm the same way. You want that validation. Because let me tell you something. I ask you that question because you're pretty aggressive. I've been on meetings with you. I've heard you on the phone. Man, we've been driving around the city of Miami, and I've seen you pick up the phone and call literally anybody at any time. So I was curious to know and ask you that, right? Because we've talked about it in different situations, how there's some people that are close to you or closer that you don't necessarily feel comfortable asking, but you pick up the call and you'll call a complete stranger, which most people can't do.
Right.
And they become more clients.
That happens to me a lot, actually. That I just, again, it boils down to the trust factor. I think it comes down to trust, in my opinion.
It's yeah. I mean, can you think of any examples that's happened to you recently?
It happened this past weekend, actually. I had a party at my house, and an immediate family member asked me, "Hey, how's work?" And
what's the first thing you thought about? Are you a client? No, I can assume. I know you.
But I said, no, it's going great. No complaints. Do you like it? Like, she gave me a face like, do you like it? And I go, I think so. I've been in it for 6.5 years. I enjoy what I do for a living. Granted, I didn't go in depth in that way because I think I would have come off in a way that wasn't right and maybe defensive.
I think you're overthinking it.
I might be overthinking it.
Definitely overthinking it.
But that's not the first time that someone has asked me that. So it kind of becomes redundant, and it's like, all right, come on. You know what I do for a living. And then you have those friends that say, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're in insurance? Oh, I didn't know that. Kind of making it seem like they had no idea what you do for a living. And so I don't know.
I think the first thing is we can't assume anybody's thinking about us.
Right.
Like this is all we do every day, right? And we assume, and we do a good job of marketing ourselves and literally working on establishing relationships every day, new relationships. That's the bloodline to our business. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to establish new relationships because that's the hardest part, right? Building trust and rapport with strangers, right, or people you've never spoken to before, that takes time, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, because especially living in, basically in the city, now people are a little more guarded on establishing, right, trusting you. So we do all this work to build rapport with complete strangers that sometimes are low-hanging fruit. The people you assume are just going to help you, this almost becomes a wall.
Right.
It almost becomes disappointing. Like, why not? But sometimes it could be, why not ask, right? Like, why not?
I think at that point, having that in-depth conversation with someone, kind of opening up, the insecurities, and pushing that aside, and just having a normal conversation with somebody and kind of getting to know them on a different level.
Well, different level, but also making them aware. Like sometimes maybe we overthink it. Do most people know that you're on a commission-only basis? I guarantee you most people don't. Like, I think if some people knew, man, Marco, if you don't sell, you don't make any money.
Any money.
Because everyone says sales, but in our industry, in our firm, right, there's no salaries.
Right.
So everyone says we're in sales, but a lot of times that equates to having a salary plus bonuses. Well, Marco doesn't really need it. Yeah, I need it. Right? Because yes, that's going to directly help me. Because if it's not you, why them? Right? So I don't think most people know that. And sometimes, sorry to cut you off, but I even make a mistake of doing that. I think we don't push that enough. We have almost like this it's not pridefulness, but we're scared to tell people, hey, if I don't sell, I don't make money. Because you want to come across either
needy, pushy. I don't know.
But it's a truth.
It is true. But I don't. My
that,
approach is different.
So
I wouldn't tell someone, hey, I'm on commission based only, kind of using that as a crutch for them to give me business. That's just how I am.
I'm not saying using I agree with you 100%. I'm not saying using it as a crutch, but how about not making people aware of that? Like if your family member who you talk to was aware that my policy, who I'm giving to a random stranger, directly affects your pocket,
right,
and that's it,
right.
I think it'd be a different conversation.
No, I agree. I had a conversation with my sister. Again, a lot of things happened this past weekend. A lot of my family members were asking me a bunch of questions.
That's called unpaid consulting, by the way. Yeah.
So my sister goes, so how'd you get into the insurance industry? She was like kind of drilling me on that, and I explained to her how I got into it and how is it that you get paid essentially? And so I told her, I'm like, hey, look, you know, I'm on 100% commission. You know, if I don't sell a policy, I won't get paid.
Right.
You know, and so I explained to her, I'm like, look, my first paycheck was $600 3 months into the business. So that means I went 90 days.
I beat you.
I was 90 days.
I was like 680.
without a paycheck.
I know.
You know what I mean? And so it was very difficult, you know, going through that.
What was your sister's reaction to that?
She was shocked.
Okay.
She was shocked.
Like even
she
your own
was
sister
like, wow.
didn't know that.
Yeah, no, my own sister
and
did
the
not
pressure
know
that comes with that type of compensation structure. Look, it's great. We love it.
Right.
It's you start slow and then you can kind of build.
Right.
But she didn't even know that.
No, she didn't know that, and I'm glad that I had that chance to have that conversation with her and explain that to her on the surface, right? Because I didn't go in detail, but you know, it opened up her eyes a little bit more. Like, oh man, they call me Chino, but Chino, I guess he made it, you know, type of thing. He's doing well.
Chino's the box.
Chino's the box.
Chino is a 16-year-old baseball player at Killian, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, they create that box, and I guess they put me in there, and it's almost like I'm trying to break through it.
I have a solution for you. Next time you have a party, we're just going to print out a bunch of agent of record forms and have them.
Have everybody sign it.
No, have them at the door. Drop your keys.
Hey, you're checking.
Hey, if you want a Corona, agent of record. Right. If not, I think that's a nice. It'll be a kind of a subtle way, almost passive aggressive. Right. I should do that too.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
even
nice.
though I have most of my clients already, so I've been doing it longer.
That is true.
So I've been 12 years.
How long have you been in the game?
12 years.
Nice.
12, 13. I lose track of time. I just don't have more hair in the earlier pictures. So that's how I can tell. Dude, but let's continue to have that conversation. I the same struggles we talk about, breaking the previous misconception mold, like of what you did when you were 16, 18, 20. It is difficult. What you're going through, I've gone through, I'm sure a bunch of salespeople do, is questioning, why are people around me that you think are closest to you not helping me? And I think it's 100% self-awareness.
And I also think that since the majority of my family is on social media, right? And so they see that maybe a particular person that they follow or know of, not in the social media world, has jumped to different jobs, and it's kind of created this, thought that everybody's going to do the same. And so when someone sticks it out for 5+ years, it's almost a rarity now.
This is your career.
This is my career. This
career,
is what I do for a living.
You're a pro.
We go with our best intentions all the time in every meeting. Why not give us a shot? That's how I look at it.
Yet when your family comes over next time, it's I'm Agent Luna. I'm not Chino.
Yeah,
that'd be the.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to social media. Like, it's my handle. I'm gonna print out every form for you. Dude, I appreciate you getting a little uncomfortable with me, getting on the mics a little bit.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. I know it was a long walk over here, but I appreciate you, man. I'm excited about what we're doing, and let's continue to put pressure on people.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks, man.